All right, so let's go ahead and start lying on our backs. I'm gonna sit up. Of course, if you would be more comfortable sitting up, by all means, feel free to do so. We will do a couple movements lying on the back though, so we will begin there. If you worry that you're gonna fall asleep or something like that, of course, you can stay seated with me. We'll take a moment to settle in whatever position you have chosen. One of the best ways to do this, if we find that our energy is not what we want it to be, or we're sort of scattered or frazzled, noticing whatever surface you are on. So if you're standing and that's only your feet, that's totally fine, placing the attention there. If at this moment you are lying down, noticing all the parts of your body that are touching your yoga mat beneath you. Noticing what it feels like to be held and supported from below. And if we're feeling the need for some warmth on this chilly day, I'll invite us to picture a candle burning in our heart center or in our heart space. So not our anatomical heart, but sort of in the center of the chest. We can imagine a beautiful candle there burning, keeping us warm from the inside out and lighting our way. And there may be another image that works better for you. Of course, by all means, a candle isn't the only thing we could picture here. But it is nice sometimes on a chilly evening in the dark of winter, picturing a candle in our hearts here and the warmth and light radiating out. We will be doing some work based on strength, energy, vitality, heat, muscular work. We were just talking about the right side of the brain and the left side of the brain, the right side of the body, the left side of the body, and their different energetic principles. So in an effort to keep balance between masculine and feminine energy, or the right side of the body and the left side of the body, and the constructs and metaphor that we use there to understand ourselves, I offer us this reading. Maybe just for today, try recognizing the ways in which you meet obstacles with harshness. Experiment with being soft when your impulse is to be hard, generous when your impulse is to be withholding, open when your impulse is to close up or shut down emotionally. And when there is grief or sadness, try letting it be there. Allow yourself to feel whatever you are feeling, and noticing any labels you attach to anything that comes up in your mind, body, or emotions. Letting go of labels, just feeling what we are feeling, and all the while cultivating moment-to-moment awareness. Taking each moment as it comes, one moment at a time, riding the waves of up and down, good and bad, weak and strong, until we see that these labels are all inadequate to fully describe your experience. Maybe just for today, we can be with the experience itself. Trust in your deepest strength of all, to be present, to be wakeful. before we get too comfortable here, let's invite some movement into the body. So we might like to take a deep breath in and a big long reach in opposite directions. Might feel quite nice to draw knees to chest. And we can rock side to side or give each knee a circle. Maybe with this idea of trying something different, where we would normally rock side to side or whatever it may be, maybe just for today, trying a different movement than whatever our impulse is. We can circle the ankles. We could let the legs go and circle our wrists. Maybe turning the head side to side or drawing a circle with the nose, one direction then the other. And often swaying or circling movement can be quite soothing to the body. So even though we are going to get up and move, this kind of swaying or circling movement can put us in a more peaceful state, so we can move maybe more joyfully, even though we're working hard. Let's start to get our core moving and working. So this is our strength from the inside out. We'll go ahead and plant our feet, and we can take our fingers or our hands to our bellies. As we inhale, let's take a deep breath into our rib cage. And as we exhale, pulling our abdominal muscles in to push the air out. So our hands help give us some feedback with this process. Feeling our ribs expand, and then feeling our abdominal muscles push the air out. And we'll sort of keep this flow going as we move. So the next time we breathe out, let's lock this in, but not too locked in. Maybe a soft locking, if we think of it that way. So yes, our abdominal muscles are grown in, but they're not, are pulled in, but they're not rigid. And then let's draw knees to chest. And we'll flow through a single leg to chest. So we can hold behind the right thigh, stretch the left leg long, knees to chest, and switch. So I personally prefer to breathe in from knees to chest and breathe out while my leg moves. You may prefer the opposite, and that's totally okay. We can already be aware of our posture here, shoulder blades pressing down or elbows pulling down. We can go once more each way. And then from knees to chest, we can actually just let the legs go, and wherever they fall is probably perfect. Let's take our arms alongside our bodies, palms up or down, but we can walk our shoulder blades underneath our back to create more length from shoulder to shoulder across the shoulder blades. And we'll go through a bridge flow here. I don't know if we've done this one before, but let's go ahead and give our toes a wiggle. Spread them out and let them plant back down. And we're going to press into our heels and the balls of our feet evenly to lift hips to sky. And that's our flow. So we can inhale, expanding on the way up. Exhale on the way down, and we'll use our abdominal muscles to control the descent, resisting gravity. We can still have that expansion of our ribs on the way up. And depending on how our backs are feeling today, we might be doing a really small range of motion, or we might feel really great doing a big range of motion. I'm going to turn the music down, I think, just a touch. give it 1 or 2 more good ones. And then we can release this movement and allow for some more freedom of movement again. So we can stretch our arms and legs in opposite directions. Maybe recognizing our normal movement patterns and trying something different. And we will start to make our way to meet in a seated position. The gentlest on our backs is usually to roll to one side. Use the strength in our arms to press up. Walk your hands around to the top edge of your mat. And we will be here for a minute, so you may like something to sit on. Maybe rolling up the back edge of your mat to sit on your rolled mat if you don't have a cushion. And if you have a cushion, you're in good shape. We're going to start with warming breath. So technically, to energize before we work out, we should plug our left nostril and breathe through our right nostril. I will mirror you. So let's go ahead and plug the left nostril. So we're breathing through the right nostril. Comfortable breath in and out. I will let you know that I did not used to believe in this because it sounds silly. Guess what? Now there is a fair amount of research on single nostril breathing, and science is coming around to say, actually, there's something to it. On top of that, I've been doing these practices in my own life, and I have noticed the effects. Yes. And even if you're very skeptical, I love to quote someone I know in saying, there's no such thing as a false sense of well-being. So if breathing through your right nostril makes you feel energized, fantastic. We'll do a few more rounds of breath like this. Sitting tall, ribs expanding, abdominal muscles helping us grow taller. All right, we can let that go. Might like to roll the shoulders out a little bit. And let's go ahead and make our way into child's pose. And we'll keep going with our flowing movements. So typically we sit hips back to heels. You may be more comfortable up much higher. Well, let's go ahead and flow forwards and backwards, coming into a kneeling plank, and then settling back into child's pose. We can inhale in child's pose, and then exhale as we come into our plank, working on this theme. So we inhale, ribs expand, child's pose. Exhale, belly pulls in, plank. Moving at our own perfect pace, matching breath to movement. If we're working with any kind of shoulder trouble today, be mindful of coming into having body weight on our hands. We could do the same kind of movement, again, just using our breath without putting our body weight on our hands. So make it work for you, whatever that means today. Let's do one more like this. And then let's come into all fours. So we're going to walk our shoulders, our hands a little bit closer to our knees. If you are familiar with cat and cow pose, take it away. Otherwise, I'll walk us through it. So we can take a breath in to get ready. Ribs expand. And then as we breathe out and pull our abdominals up and in, we're pressing the mat away, rounding our backs to the sky. We can tuck the chin and look towards our knees or the mat. And then we go in the opposite direction, lifting the tail, lengthening the back of the thighs, reaching the chest forward. Maybe we still imagine that candle in our hearts, stretching forward, and crown of the head to the ceiling. Let's flow back and forth, and maybe our impulse today is to move in a less linear fashion. So we can shift our body weight as we go, maybe shifting back to one corner of the mat in cat pose. And then in cow, reaching the chest forward to another corner of the mat. So again, we can have some freedom of movement, breaking out of our usual patterns, making it a bit more dynamic. If it feels good, we're sort of, I think of it sometimes we're going off the beaten path. We're kind of dusting off the cobwebs of movements that we don't usually do. We could also take our spine in a circle, maybe just the tailbone circling around, maybe just the rib cage circling around, maybe all of it together. Beautiful. All right, let's give it enough to even off whatever we've been doing. So if you've been moving only clockwise, move counterclockwise, or whatever it may be. And then we'll come and take a seat again. So when you feel you've evened it out, we can sit. You can sit on your heels. You can sit cross-legged. We could do a chair or whatever else. And we are going to do a couple of movements, more of these like fiery movements to help shift our emotional state. So this is a good one to do if you're feeling sluggish or down, soft, dark, heavy, any of that, to shift us into a different state emotionally. So this one's called pulling up the weeds. So we're going to reach and grab as we inhale. And then like we are throwing something behind us as we exhale. And we're going to alternate sides. So we go inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And you can do a harsh kind of inhale and exhale if that feels good. We can be pulling the abs in again on the exhale. I promise we will loosen this up towards the end of class. We will shift our state back to being a more relaxing state. Okay, before we hyperventilate, let's go just once more on each side. We'll come back into center. We can give the shoulders a roll when you're ready. Maybe we want to loosen the hands up. And we'll do a little bit of tapping to help shifting this state. So we're doing joyful, strengthening movements, and we might not always feel like that. So we can do a simple tap, even though I don't feel like whatever this is, in this case, joyful movements. I am open to trying. So we're going to go through that. If you've never done tapping before, just monkey see, monkey do, copy me. All right? So we'll start tapping one hand on the fleshy side of our other hand. Sometimes we call this our karate chop point. Even though I might not feel like it, I am open to strengthening movements. And you can repeat after me or just listen. You can do it out loud or in your head. Even though it's not what I really want to do right now, I'm willing to try. Even though I'm not in the mood for strengthening, I can start to move my body. I will tap on the top of the head. I begin now to open myself up. And the inside of the eyebrow, I open myself up to moving my body in a joyful way. And the outside of the eye, I am willing to take a chance. And on the cheekbone underneath the eye, I can try my best. I can rest if I need to. And under the nose, I honor my body. I honor my needs. And on the chin, maybe just for today, I can get up and go. And underneath the collarbone, even though I may not feel like it, I can do it one step at a time. And the top of the head again. I can keep putting one foot in front of the other. Inside the eyebrow. I can go easy on myself. And the outside of the eye, I can still get things done. Underneath the eye, I can work hard and I can rest. Under the nose, maybe just for this moment, I open myself to the possibility. And the chin. And when it's all over, I'll be saying, can you believe it? I did it. And under the collarbone, yes, that was me. I did it. And let's finish one more time on the karate chop point. I open myself up to the opportunity now. Alrighty, we'll let this go. We've been sitting a while. Let's get our legs moving. You may notice now that we've stopped tapping, you'll be sighing or yawning or something like that. Totally normal. Let's start from child's pose. And if any of that stuff comes up, we'll just sort of let it happen. It's all good. Let's take a big breath in through the nose, maybe out through the mouth. We may like to stay in child's or tuck our toes and lift up into downward dog. And whether we're in child's or down dog, we can invite some movement in, shifting the hips side to side. If we're in down dog, we can pedal our heels. We can turn the head side to side or give it a little shake. And then from either child's or downward dog, we'll make our way into a lunge with the right foot forward. Super. All right, and let's go ahead and shift front and back. So this may feel fantastic for you. This may be a lot on the knee. We can do the same kind of shifting movements from a standing position, pressing the hip forward and shifting back. Or we can put padding under the knee, whatever keeps us happy. And we won't be here for too long. All right, let's come into our kneeling lunge. We'll take a big breath up, reaching the arms overhead. We can look upwards as we do it. And as we release our hands, we can give them a shake off. And let's make our way back into child's or downward facing dog. And we'll take it to the other side. In our own time, left foot forward, adjusting our alignment as we need to. And now you know how it goes. We already did it once. Let's shift front and back. This side might be very different than the other side, right? We might only have one knee that bugs us or one hip that's tight. So of course, we can adjust our bodies as necessary to accommodate. Maybe our natural impulse is to force it and not accommodate it. Well, let's try it a little differently. Maybe our impulse is to move really quickly or really slowly. Maybe for today, we throw in a little bit of variety. Let's come into our kneeling lunge. Again, we can inhale looking up, optimistic gaze, and then we shake our hands off. Okay, one last chance for down dog or child's pose, or any other resting pose. But we will start to make our way to a standing position. So we can start to walk hands and feet towards one another. We can make our way up to standing. Whenever we get there, we can give our shoulders a roll. Or, a little different than usual, let's give our shoulders a bounce. We can put a bounce in the knees as well. Maybe it looks a little silly. It's all good. We can put a bounce in the heels instead. Depending on how active you're feeling at this moment, we can put a bounce in the whole body. But again, movements that help us shift our state, energizing ourselves from the inside out. They say it's better than a cup of coffee, but I don't know, I drink pretty strong coffee. Okay, however many bounces we're doing, let's give it another 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Again, we can let it go, shake off. Let's take a deep breath out. And we'll bring hands to heart. We'll move through Flight of the Bird. So if you've done this with me before, take it away. Otherwise, I'll walk us through. We'll start with a short step back into a Warrior One, loosening up calf and ankle. We're going to alternate side to side. Option here to open our arms to goalpost or cactus arms as we step back. We're inhaling back and exhaling forward. We can do it like we're showing off our muscles. Give it some power. We might like to make a fist or spread our fingers, starfish hands. And we can start to make it bigger. So we can reach up overhead and a bigger step back to a Warrior One. Still inhaling as we step back. Exhaling as we step forward, knowing of course that this is just a suggestion. Looks great. Another option is to lunge back instead so the heel stays lifted. Sometimes more comfortable for the ankles. Can help us get more muscular strength out of it as well, so we can drop low, challenge our muscles. Maybe the arms are coming overhead. Okay, hopefully we're feeling warm, we're feeling confident, we've picked a good option. We're going to do something a little different. So let's step back one side that feels good. We're going to keep our power going. So we're going to inhale to prepare, exhale to pull the knee up. Could be a very small step. Whenever you're ready, get going. And I'll just keep showing us options. So I like to do a really strong pull. I don't know what's going on in your world today. We might be doing a much softer, smaller movement. All right, honoring our bodies, whatever we need. We are allowed to need that, right? We are allowed to accommodate those needs. Well, let's give it another 3, 2, 1, and we'll come back to standing. Again, maybe we want to shake those hands off, shake our hips off. We're going to make it match on the other side. Here we go. Other foot back. Steady our minds whenever you're ready. Could be a big movement, giant step.
We can go between our different options. We don't have to pick just one. We can go more slowly. We could do it in a softer way, less harshness, or maybe we like that really direct, sharp approach to it. There's no label, no judgment. It is what it is. We pick whatever we want to do. And whatever we're doing, let's give it another 3, 2, 1. And again, we can shake it off. We can shake off our hips. You can probably tell by our music, we are slowing it down slightly. Let's start from the top of our mats. And let's all do the same side together. So rather than alternating, we're going to keep our right foot down and lift our left knee up. We'll come into a moment of balance here. We may like to have hands at heart or a tight fist with the elbows pulled back. We'll catch our breath. We will keep moving. Let's take this left leg back into Warrior One. We can inhale arms overhead, or we might like to take hands wide, or again out to cactus. Let's bring hands to heart, and we'll turn open to Warrior Two. Well, let's take our back foot a bit further back to accommodate the movement. And we can take hand over foot, and we'll lower and left. So we still have some strength going, but we're a bit more steady and less spastic about our movements. Is there a way that we can find peace and calm amidst all this work and flurry of energy and heat that we are generating? Let's lower into Warrior Two. Maybe a little different than we're used to. Let's take our back hand down and then our front arm up, and we're going to turn and look towards the back hand. So often we look past our front armpit. Maybe just for today we look towards the back knee. We can keep that deep bend or let it go, but let's pick one on purpose rather than the knee having a mind of its own. Okay, a challenge for our proprioception and balance. Can we keep our eyes on our back hand as we come into side angle pose? So we're taking right to right and left arm to the sky. We can stay here in side angle, or maybe triangle is our favorite and we'd like to straighten the front leg. Is there a way we can do this pose a little differently than usual? Let's be soft with ourselves. We'll hold another 3, 2. Let's use our strength to come back to Warrior Two. We'll take our hands to our hips. Let's see how good our balance is. We'll make our way to the top of the mat. And we are ready for the other side. So we'll keep our left foot down, lifting the right knee. We can pull back, tall and proud, feeling the tension in our back muscles. And even though we're working hard, we have that strength and tension, we can feel soft across the chest muscles. Let's take a step back into Warrior One. Probably a bit of a balance challenge. We can readjust when we get there. Let's find a place for our arms that feels comfortable. Maybe finding our comfort edge, or maybe trying something differently than usual tonight. We'll make our way to Warrior Two. We can take our foot a bit further back. We can stack, hand over foot, and the bend and straighten. You got it. No need to make it a big drop, but let's lower enough that we feel our muscles tighten and lift enough that we feel them give in a little. So we're working through the entire range of motion. There's also some softness. We'll lower down, find a good steady spot, and as we take our back hand to our back leg, let's keep our eyes on it while we add our side bend. So it gives us maybe a different perspective, gives us some novelty, but it's actually a teacher trick to keep our alignment healthier. Technically, it's safer for our spine to do only a side bend. We don't want to rotate and also look towards the short edge of the mat, so this keeps it straighter. We can keep our eye on this back hand as we come into side angle. We can stay in side angle if it's our favorite. Or we can straighten and come into triangle if that's what we prefer. But let's find a way of doing the pose that feels authentically good. Is a good option. We'll use our core strength to bring ourselves up, come back into Warrior Two, and challenge our balance to the top of the mat. All right, maybe feeling a little bit more steady now. Let's come into a stretch here. So we can take our feet wide, so we can step to face the long edge of the mat again in a sometimes called a horse stance, goddess pose, plie, whatever that may be. Let's take a big breath up. And as we've been doing, like our Warrior Two, but with palms up, arms parallel with the floor, and we'll pull the thumbs back. Might feel good to do some movements of the neck or shoulders. Let's interlace in behind for a chest expansion, so we're punching our hands down towards the floor. As we're reaching chest and maybe reaching our eyebrows towards the ceiling as well. And let's keep this angle with our arms if we want to add on to a wide-legged forward fold. So we can hinge from our hips, kind of chopping ourselves in half. We might like to stop halfway down for more strength, more heat. And if by chance you can go quite far, let's keep that same action of punching the arms in line with the tailbone, rather than trying to get them up overhead. The idea is that it's safer for the shoulders, we have more engagement for our chest expansion. We can add an extra strength chest expansion by either pushing the palms together or doing the action to pull the palms away from one another. If this is your favorite pose, hang on a little while longer. Otherwise, whenever we're ready, we can start to make our way back into child's pose. So no rush to be the first one to leave for your forward fold. No rush to be the last. But we are making our way to child's. We can do a little movement, shaking hips side to side or walking our hands from side to side. And when we're ready, let's meet lying on our bellies for some extra strength on the way there. We can go through a very slow push-up if you would like. Just an option. And we'll start with a stretch. So let's come up onto our forearms. You may know this as Sphinx pose. Again, we are shining our hearts forward, letting our inner light shine. We can draw shoulder blades away from the ears, crown of the head to the the sky rather than the nose to the sky. This may be a very high range of motion for you. You may actually have your arms out much further. That's probably more in the realm of normal. We can do the same range of motion but add some strength. So let's lower down and we'll take our thumbs to our shoulders. We're going to inhale to lift into cobra, lots of strength in our backs, and exhale to lower. Well, let's go through that flow a couple of times. And let's hold at the top, whatever a comfortable range of motion is. We may like a little bit of help from our fingertips in this position, or we can reach arms alongside our body for a locust. We can lift one leg or both. And if you lift one, I'll tell you at the halfway point. If you lift both, we can actually squeeze our feet together. So press the feet towards one another. Let's go ahead and switch feet. If you only have one lifted, lift the other. We won't be here all night. Imagining that we can grow longer, reaching the top of the head forward and the toes back. And then as we go to lower down, again, maybe we choose something different. Noticing what our impulse is here. Maybe we want to shift the hips. Maybe it's more the impulse of where our minds go and seeing if we can observe or maybe choose another option. And we'll make our way again back to child's, or maybe the last downward dog of the day. If we like those shaking movements, we could always lift one leg in downward dog, shake our leg off, again like a wet dog. Don't let me rush you, but we will make our way down to lie on our backs. So let's take maybe the next minute or so to get there. We can swing our legs around, come down onto our backs. And then when we get here, again, any kind of movement we want to wipe the slate clean, noticing what our tendencies are. Are we just picking the same pattern all the time? We can choose to do it again and observe the pattern, or we can choose to do something different. I don't know, maybe internally and externally rotating the feet, like ballerina feet, and then turned in. Something we don't often do. And let's take our hands to our bellies. So I've planted my feet. That might be more comfortable for you. You might like to have your legs straight. Maybe one bent, one straight. Let's relax any muscular tension in our bellies here. So we can have a deep, expansive belly breath. We may like to have hands on belly or ribs or belly and chest to feel a full expansion in the bottom, middle, and top of our lungs. One more movement here to help slow us and cool us down. So now we're creating a shift in the opposite direction. So let's all plant our feet if they're not already. We might like to do a big hug in knees to chest and let our feet land. So we've softened our belly. Nice deep breaths. We can imagine that we're breathing right into the pelvis. And we'll take ankle over thigh, a good one to do if we've been doing a lot of standing work like we were doing today, lunges, that kind of thing. But we're going to add this swaying movement to cool our bodies down. So we can sway side to side. And we can just observe where we feel tension. We can move more slowly through those tense places. Often anyone who's very flexible, and that's not most people, feels more rested and soothed in a really small range of motion. So I remember when somebody told me this trick, because I am too flexible, like beyond normal risk for injury from stretching. Someone told me this and I, for the first time, felt really relaxed doing this kind of like microscopic sway. And for people who are really tight, it's kind of counterintuitive. A bigger sway can be more restful. And I remember my partner in this course was really tight and said the same kind of thing, like, oh yeah, I've never really noticed that. That's how I feel really relaxed. Tight person, big range of motion. Loose person, small range of motion. Might not be true for everybody, but it's a pretty good rule of thumb to try. Can give us some insight into our own range of motion. And you may also like to pause, enjoying the twist at one end of the sway, and then pause, enjoying the twist at the other end of the sway. Inviting our breath to be slower, deeper, fuller. Knowing that there is no one right way to do it, but we can use our true strength to be wakeful. Moment to moment awareness, taking each moment as it comes, and then the next, and the next, and the next. We are going to make our way to the other side. You may like, again, knee to chest, or a single leg, or a double leg to chest. And when we're ready, we'll do that same setup for the other side. Planting one foot, ankle over thigh, and we'll sway. And this side may be very different, right? Can we use our ability to be wakeful and present to feel the range of motion? Often we like to skip over difficult things. Can we really absorb the most difficult part of this range of motion, whatever it is? Sort of be with it, that moment. Knowing that we can respond to our body's needs, maybe a small range of motion, a big range of motion, pausing at the end of the sway, or maybe today for you, a completely different pose altogether would be the best option. Let's see where we can invite softness into the body, relaxing the muscles of the face, maybe letting the tongue drop away from the roof of the mouth or allowing the teeth to part. We could even let the jaw hang open to encourage softness in the rest of the body. Obviously, that's not a good way to just hold our jaw all day, but it can help to bring relaxation if we do it for a minute. And then there may be some final pose that you would love to do. Maybe another single legs to chest, another stretch. So take a moment here, whatever we need, we can let ourselves have that. Again, maybe turning the head side to side, windshield wiping the legs. Often a happy baby is a favorite, so taking the knees wider than the hips from knees to chest. And like we're doing a sumo squat on the ceiling, you can reach up and hold ankles, thighs, or even our big toe. Another one that we can let some rocking, soothing rocking movements come into the body. And again, I'll offer us some options for our final relaxation, the best way to bring relaxation into the body. I can't tell you, but I can give us some options. So, we were breathing through the right nostril to heat up and wake up. We can now encourage the left nostril to open. So we do this by lying on the right side. So if you lie, if I'm hearing you, if you lie on your right side, the top nostril, your left nostril might open and help with that level of relaxation. If you prefer to finish seated, we can plug the right nostril and breathe normally. We can continue to do what we call belly breathing. Of course, the air only goes into our lungs, but we relax the belly and focus on the expansion of the belly. We can come back to that idea of having a candle in our hearts, our inner warm glow. And no matter which technique we're doing, we can invite relaxation in as well by making our exhale longer than our inhale. So we might inhale for 4 and exhale for 8. Leaving the abdominals relaxed, making it a very passive breath without any need for forcing or harshness. Recognizing the ways in which we meet obstacles with harshness, experimenting here with being soft, being generous to ourselves, and being open with ourselves, even if our impulse is to turn away, close up, or shut down. Whatever our feelings are, letting them be there. Maybe we notice labels and see if we can release them, maybe just for today. And replacing our labels with moment-to-moment awareness, riding the waves of breath up and down. Knowing that words are inadequate to fully describe our experience, but we can be with the experience and trust our deepest strength of all, to be present, to be wakeful and fully alive.
Let's take a moment to bring hands to heart, giving a little thanks to ourselves and our internal teacher that we've been listening to for our time together. And thank you from me to you, and from my light to yours. Namaste.